Hello again, gamers. Welcome back to the Board Game Captain. I'm the Captain.
I'm Lynn.
And today we're going to be doing our haul from Gen Con 2023. We're also going to be filming a wrap-up video today. That'll be coming soon, probably tomorrow at the time of this video's release. But right now we're just going to go through all the stuff we got at Gen Con 2023. So do you want to go first or second with some of the stuff you're going to show?
I'll go first.
Okay, what do you got?
I have Vivarium.
Let me show it to the camera here. I'll show the cover. So
it is a set collecting and drafting game from Studio H.
I've actually already gotten this one to the table. I actually played it at the con. Lynn wasn't there. I told her, though, she's going to like it because it is something that's up her alley. The drafting is done this interesting way with dominoes, where you always have to swap out for the domino in the middle of the table. Everybody has two dominoes, and then there's one in the middle of the table. And then you got to swap them to get pairs of numbers to be able to draft particular cards. And then you have to set collect towards goals. This is a really fun game, and I do know you are going to like it. Plus, it is very pretty. All right, so let me do my first one then. I'm going to slide that out of the way. My first one is some stuff I bought. This is not review copies. This is just for me. So don't expect to necessarily see any content on these. These are the Hex Tech buildings for Battletech. I've got a ton of them, so I'm going to be sliding them out here because I bought one of each one that Gale Force 9 made because I really wanted them. The thing is, what these basically are is these are terrain on hex-shaped bases so that they can sit on the hex maps for Battletech. They're meant to be terrain that are perfectly in scale to represent certain sizes of buildings. Right now, all they've got is buildings, and I've got, again, one of each of the various buildings boxes. A lot of them come with two buildings, except for the really big ones. Some of the really big ones only come with one. This is actually two fairly large ones, but there's one. Which one is the one that's... Oh, this is the biggest building, but it only comes with one. Everything else, I think, comes with two. And there's a ton of these. I actually spent over $200 on getting all of them. I really like that Gale Force 9 is doing this. They've got some more Hex Tech terrain coming. They're going to have hills and roads are coming next. And I'm probably going to be collecting all of these. I'm just putting these on the floor to get them out of the way. But Lynn, why don't you take us away with your next one?
The next one I have is Tribes of the Winds. It seems to be sort of like a card game where you're cleaning up the area that you live.
Yeah, it's
like pollution, and you're using cards to clean up the pollution or something.
I believe it is. I believe people have moved up, try to be above smog or something. That's why you're living up in the wind, and you're trying to clean up the pollution. It's like a dystopian future, but with a glimmer of hope, kind of thing. This was one I had seen a demo that. So this is actually from. How do you say that?
I don't know. That's French.
La Boîte de Jeu, I think.
You're probably pronouncing too many letters.
I probably am. I'm not sure. I think La Boîte de Jeu. But they are partnered with Hachette here in the United States, and Hachette did a demo of this for me before it came out at a convention. It looked really cool, and I was very interested in it. I think it had a lot of Euro mechanics in it, too. It was a very Euro-y game. And it's been getting a lot of buzz. A lot of people were very interested in this game, so we had gotten a review copy of it. This is a review copy. We will have a review coming, and it looks gorgeous. The mechanics sound cool, so yeah, cool stuff. All right, so I've got a handful of some kind of I guess you could say miscellaneous stuff here. I'm going to pull out. So first off, I've got some artwork that we got at the convention. So I'm going to show I got 3 pieces of artwork. These are really cool, all by the same artist, which I got them signed here. I love his mix of fantasy and real world elements that he was doing, which is really, really cool. So those were really awesome. And then in addition, I picked up, this was from another artist that I had previously gotten art from. When I had bought his art in a previous year, he was telling me he had a book coming out that was going to be in the world of his art, and this is that book. So I bought the book because I love the art that I got from him. It's on the wall.
Like middle grade book, or is that for adults? Or?
I think it's kind of maybe a middle grade /
Because there's too many words for it to be like a picture book.
Yeah, it's not a picture book because this whole area is where there's no pictures. There's just pages of text, but there are a lot of pictures. It is based around his artwork after all. I would say probably somewhere, but maybe either middle grade or young adult, possibly between the two kind of thing.
Older middle grade.
Yeah, but it looks fun, and sometimes it's fun to read stuff like that. It's got a kind of fairy tale vibe. I really like. I really like the look of the artwork and such. It is called The Goblin Twins: A Garden Tale. Feel free to read it if you want to as well. It looks really fun and fairy tale-ish. I know you like fairy tale stuff. I also picked up a pair of brass-colored skull dice. These are metal and they are rather hefty. This is specifically for playing BattleTech with. I like to have pairs of 6-sided dice for BattleTech. I also, and then this is just, again, because this is all just random bits and bobs that weren't large enough to have their own section. I picked up the premium miniature for the Clanbuster Black Knight, which I love. It's my favorite version of the Black Knight, and the Black Knight itself is a mech I love. It is the Black Knight that has a quote-unquote hatchet. In reality, it's a sword, but it was originally designed back before swords were their own mechanics, so it is a big broadsword that kind of counts as a hatchet. And finally, in the miscellaneous pile here, I have a plushie of the Pirate Urban Mech, which is the same color scheme that the big inflatable urban mech they put outside of all the conventions they go to is. And I just wanted one. That was all. There was nothing more to it than I wanted one of the plushy urban mechs.
You gonna snuggle it at night?
Maybe. You don't know. What do you got?
I have Sorcerer's Arena, the base set, and a little expansion. This looks like it's a Disney themed like combat game. There's like a grid, and there's probably magical powers and abilities and stuff.
Yeah, there is. That's 100% right. And it's got some combat, but it's more about like almost like King of the Hill. So I got a quick video shot about this one at the convention, and I told them I was very interested in it, and they gave me a review copy, which was very cool. This was from the Op. Had a meeting with the Op at the con. So the thing is, they have these yellow hexes in the middle of the board, and what it is you want to be able to put one of your characters. You get to each make a team of 3 Disney characters. And you want to get a character to sit on the yellow hexes turn after turn to earn points. But you can also earn points by knocking out an enemy character, though they just respawn. There's no permadeath. So because of that, like if someone's holding it and you need to get them off it to start getting points, you can knock them out and take it. And the base set comes with the following characters. You have Maleficent, you have Aladdin, you have Disney as the Sorcerer's Apprentice from Fantasia.
You mean Mickey?
Oh, what did I say?
You said Disney.
You're right. I did mean Mickey. You have Demona from Gargoyles. You have is
that Sully? That's Sully.
Sully from
Monsters Inc.
Thank you. What is the dude from
Gaston?
Gaston from help me out.
Oh, Beauty and the Beast.
Thank you. I'm having like brain cramps today, and I know you know his name.
Dr. Facilier.
Because you love that movie.
I love him.
That's from the Princess and the Frog.
Yeah.
That was a good one. A very criminally overlooked Disney movie. And
Ariel
from Little Mermaid.
She's looking mad there. She's got
a battle.
She's got
her dad's trident.
She's got her dad's trident. She's ready to mess some stuff up.
And then they also gave us one of the expansions. There's a ton of expansions. Each of the expansions has 3 characters. The expansion they gave us, why don't you go over the characters we got here?
It looks like we have Moana, Davy Jones, and Stitch.
Which I specifically asked if I could have this expansion because Stitch is my all-time favorite Disney character. And I really wanted to be able to use Stitch. But this, I love how these combination expansions are using like some old and some new stuff. Like they're all over the place. Like there was one of the others where it had the bad guy from the Black Cauldron in it, which is like a crazy old overlooked Disney movie. So that's kind of. I
think it's from the 80s.
It was. Yeah. It was from the 80s. But you got to understand.
That's old now.
That is old now. we're getting old now, Lynn. Do you feel attacked?
I do.
All right. So I have next. I've got a little violently 80s. Speaking of 80s, violently 80s role playing game called Last Grim.
That was Vast.
Oh, Vast. You're right. Vast Grim. My God, I'm still brain fried from the convention. So this says, each miserable day that passes, the universe inches closer to its inevitable demise. Vast Grim is a rules-light RPG where everyone must band together in order to keep humanity alive. So I was talking to the designer of this, and I was like, oh, this kind of sounds like another role-playing game also because it's roughly the same size that I've already reviewed, called Death in Space. And he said, well, there are some similarities, but it's also very different, and it uses actually the Mork Borg system, which is another role-playing game under the umbrella of the various Free League games. They did this in association with, I think it's Stockholm Cartel, who actually owns the rights to Mork Borg. And I was like, oh, interesting. I said, well, I've actually reviewed both of those role-playing games on my channel, both Death in Space and Mork Borg, so I can totally discuss the similarities and differences. And I said, if you're looking for people to review it. And he was like, oh, he goes, you want to review it? I said, sure. And he gave me a copy. So this is Vast Grim. It looks colorful and dark and very 80s. And
that was a very Bruno thing to say.
What's that?
Colorful and dark.
It's colorful. But it is. It's weird. It's like, it's colorful and dark at the same time. You have the dark, grim, sci-fi space setting, but with like very colorful artwork. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. I know the two terms are contradictory. I'm aware. But it actually, it is what it is. Well, you're up.
Okay. The next is Castles by the Sea. This is an open demo copy that they gave us, so I don't want to tilt it too much.
Cause it's kind of jostling around in there.
Everything is just loose in there.
Yeah.
But apparently, you build sandcastles, and then
the water knocks them down.
The water knocks them down, and somehow you get points.
Yeah, it's so. This is one of the. This was a game I was very excited for because I love things that let you build 3D stuff, and this lets you build 3D stuff, and I like that. Let me show you a little picture of the back so you can see what I'm talking about. This was one of the new hotness from the convention, and I had an appointment to come talk to them about this. And by the time I went to talk to them, it was already sold out. Like it was that new hotness, like that level. And they gave us they talked to us about it. We shot a quick video with them about it, and some other things too, because this is from
Brotherwise.
Brotherwise. We shot a few videos with them, and they told us like, oh yeah, well we're sold out, but you know what? Come back on Sunday. We might have some demo copies that we could give you. And I was like, oh, well that's great. I hope so. And sure enough, they did, which was really nice. Very cool too, because I am very looking forward to that. The next thing I've got on my side is a group of things I bought. So again, this is not something for specific content. This is just for me and my game collection. It's stuff for Wings of Glory. So I'm a big fan of both Wings of Glory and the standalone expansion Wings of Glory tripods and triplanes, and I've been collecting stuff for it. So they just came out with the 2 observation balloons. This one is the Draken observation balloon. It's got a nice brown color. And the other one is also a Draken, but it's got a different color. This one's kind of a sandy, almost desert-looking color to it. These are really cool, and apparently they come with like special scenarios where one side has to try to take out the balloon while the other side has to protect it, kind of thing, which is neat. And also, because I already had, Lynn had bought for me as a present a big German bomber. I wanted a ally bomber, so I got the Handley Page, which is, I believe, a British bomber. And now I actually have one bomber for either side of World War I here. So yay! I love these giant bomber models. These things are gorgeous. They're really cool. So I'm gonna put that down over here. What you got next?
Next I have Overboss Duel. This has it looks like there's tile laying and
yes,
map building. Like you're building a little dungeon or something, and then fighting. So.
Well, I think what you're doing is you put good tiles on your side and bad tiles with that spawn heroes on your opponent's side. So your opponent has to fight the heroes because you're each a boss monster. It's in the same universe as Overboss and Boss Monster, which are all in the same kind of 8-bit fantasy sort of universe. But this is specifically made to be like a heads up game, 1 versus 1.
Okay.
It looks really cool, and I mean we were fans of Boss Monster back in the day. We kind of played the crap out of the original Boss Monster. We never played Overboss though, but this is the 2-player version of Overboss. So I think that'd actually be better for us anyway. Anything else you want to say on Overboss Duel?
No, just
it looks cool.
Yeah, I like games where you put tiles down and make pictures or
it's very satisfying
maps or something.
It's almost like ASMR. It's just incredibly satisfying to do, right? Like you just when you're placing the tiles and you're building out like a town or a country or a village or a space station or whatever it might be. Speaking of space stations, here we have Oh, this is heavy. Lunar Rush. So, this one's from Dead Alive Games. I went and I had an appointment to go film with them. Lovely people. And filmed a video. It's already up, I'm sure, at this time. Where I did a video with them where they gave, the basic pitch for Lunar Rush, which is this really cool game. It's got bidding, it's got economics, it's got like pick up and deliver. It's got a lot of Eurogame type mechanics, and it's got a beautiful artwork and a beautiful board. And it really sounded like the kind of game that would click with us. I loved all the stuff they were talking about, and I said, hey, if you guys are at some point looking for people to review the game, let me know. And they said they weren't sure if they were going to have review copies at the convention, but they would let me know. And then before the convention ended, they contacted me back and were like, hey, come by and get a review copy. So I said, abso-frickin-lutely, because this is the kind of game that, it really seems like the kind of game that's right up our alley. It's got a ton of Euro mechanics.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is one that I think Lynn and I would agree on. Like, I love Amerithrash games, but you're less so. And you love Euro games, but I also love Euro games. So I feel like...
I do prefer the medieval themes for the Euro games.
I know, but I love the space themes. Mm-hmm. Well, you'll try it with me, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's all I need. All right. What do you got next?
Okay, then I have Seas of Havoc, which is also really heavy.
Yes, that is a heavy one.
So in this one, it says it's a naval combat game, but then you're also doing like worker placement type stuff too. And
deck building too, I think.
Yeah.
You're pirates. And there is some combat, but I think it's more of kind of an abstract sort of thing. It seems to be more about it's a weird mix of Amerithrash and Euro mechanics, but I think it's more about the Euro mechanics and actual play. It's but also you're pirates.
Yeah.
So this is one I saw a demo of at PAX Unplugged last year and was very excited for because it looked really cool.
There's metal coins. That's why it's so heavy.
That's why it's so heavy. Oh, I think, did we get some kind of deluxe edition here? It seems to be a dinged copy I think they gave us for review, but I think Captain's Deluxe Edition. The Captain's Deluxe Edition. It is. It's specifically for me. All right, so my next one I've got here, let me just grab them off here. These are, again, purchases. These are not for review. I bought these specifically because I found that with expansions, I kind of have diminishing returns on reviews for expansions. Some of the people who bought the game might be interested in checking out what the expansion is like kind of situation. So rather than ask for a review copy, I just bought them because I wanted them for myself. And these are the two expansions they had out for Northgard Uncharted Lands, which I was a big fan of. I did a review of it. Really liked it. This is War Chiefs and Wilderness, which both promise to add in lots more variety to Northgard the Uncharted Lands. The War Chiefs is the one I was most interested in because it adds in new minis and new rules for special warriors, these War Chiefs, which are way better at fighting than just like the normal units, which usually have no difference between them. So this actually gives you like a souped up version, a souped up type of unit, which is pretty cool.
Well, unless you're the one that gets the bear.
Well, actually, and they have a mini for the bear.
Oh, because usually a token.
Yeah, now they have a mini for the bear. How cool is that? So that is in here. The bear
has a name. I don't remember the name.
I don't remember offhand either. I have to look. Yeah, that I think is the Bear Clan. This one I think I have to look at it, but I think this goes further into the neutral monster units, which you're not a fan of that mechanic anyway. Mm-hmm. But I did like that, so I wanted to get this anyway. So you're probably not going to ever try this one, but I'm sure you'll try the War Chiefs one because that's kind of cool.
And then next we got a review copy of the Last Kingdom board game.
I am Uhtred, son of Uhtred of Bebenberg.
Because I love the TV show, and I'm planning on reading the book soon. And it seemed really like he gave us like a little.
He gave us a little demo
overview,
of it.
And it seemed really interesting. You can like switch sides, like yes. You can flip flop unless you're King Alfred, which makes sense. Mm-hmm. You can flip flop between the Danes and the Saxons, depending on who's doing better. Yeah.
It's kind of area control, but it's got a lot more going on. There's also there's also a weird like.
There's a marketplace So you can like purchase upgrades and stuff.
that is directly affected by supply and demand,
Yeah.
which is really cool. And then you can, even one of the characters can do market manipulation.
Yeah, that's Brita, I think.
Yeah.
She can like move cards around, or like there's like certain cards where she always gets for a lower price no matter where it is in the market.
We were walking around looking at stuff, looking at film stuff, just looking at stuff, that sort of thing. And I saw this and I was like, oh my God, Lynn loves this show. I watched the whole, I want to say the first season I watched, which is why I was able to make the little inside joke there. But I watched the first season and kind of like was like, oh, I think I'm done. It didn't really grab me, but I know you loved it. And you watched like the whole series. So I immediately, I was trying to get Lynn's attention. She was talking to somebody else. And finally I went out and grabbed her. I was like, you need to come over here now. And she's like, why? And I'm like, look. And you were immediately like, oh my God. Like you were immediately like, and I turned to you and I said, should I ask for a review copy of this? And you said, yes. He showed us a little demo of it, and I was like, should I ask for a review copy of this? You said, yes. So I'm counting this as your review copy. Oh, this is kind of heavy, too.
Yeah, I
It's got a lot of weight to it.
Minis in it.
It's got a ton, and has it got wooden bits, too? Or it's because it feels like it's got some weight.
Punch board. Maybe it's just...
Could be a lot of cardboard in
it's
there.
It's 180 plus punch board tokens.
Okay, so the reason it's heavy is cardboard. It's a lot of heavy cardboard, which that is a thing. Okay, my next one is 3 expansions in a game that I was given for review. So I went over and I said hi to the people over at 4 Studio, IV4. I believe that's how it's pronounced. It always says, IV Studio, so I think it's 4 Studio, like Roman numeral 4. They're the people, if you don't recognize their name, they're kind of a newer company, but they're the people who had done Mythic Mischief. And I reviewed Mythic Mischief previously and loved it. They gave me a copy of it in like all its expansions. We talked for a while. They also showed me they have an upcoming new standalone expansion where it's like a new base set with all new factions and even a new board and new setting. It's not the library anymore. Same mechanics, new factions with new asymmetrical mechanics. Loved that game. And I was talking to them and they said, well, would you like to review our new release? And I said, oh, well, what's the new release? Tell me about it. And they told me about it, and it is Moonrakers. It is a cool sci-fi game with a lot of negotiation, because the thing is, like, you're space pirates, and, like, there'll be a pirate job, and you and the other players have to negotiate, because you're like, well, I don't have the resources to do this job on my own, so will you help me? If you help me, what do you want from the reward? And you're like, well, I'll help you. I'll contribute this, this, and this, but then I want that, that, and that. And then we're like, okay, well, that's still not enough to beat it. Will you help us? And they're like, I'll help us, but I want this and this, and that one thing you promised to them. And then you have to negotiate and figure out how you're going to do it. And it comes apparently with multiple factions in the base set. I think at least 5. It looks like there's 5 different colors of ships here. But then they also gave us 3 expansions, which each have another faction, because all the factions are asymmetrical. So we've got, this one is called... Binding Tiles. Binding Ties. You're right. I can't read today. Binding Ties. This one is called Nomad. And this one is called Overload. So they gave these all to us to check out. And here's the thing. Based on the general record I have with them for the one game and set of expansions that I already reviewed from them, and loved, I have high expectations for this one. That's really what it comes down to. I've got high expectations because of Mythic Mischief. So yeah. So I'm really hoping those are going to be awesome.
My last one is Shadowgate: The Living Castle from Trick or Treat Studios. Apparently this is based on an old NES game that I have not heard of. But it looks like it's like seems almost like an RPG light, like you're going through a castle trying to solve riddles and
go on an adventure,
complete quests, and
it's got a cool horror theme to it. The artwork is really cool. I like the kind of horror theme. They were telling me about it, and I was like, this sounds cool. And I was like, oh, I said, well, do you have any review copies of this? I would review this. This sounds like fun. I was like, Lynn would like this. I would like this. And they were like, yeah, but we don't have them here with us. Come back tomorrow and we'll give you a review copy. And I did, and they did. So, again, Shadowgate, The Living Castle. Yeah, I wasn't familiar with this game either. You weren't by me when I got accepted the review copy. I was going to ask you if you had played it because you had a Nintendo when I was a kid during the 8-bit generation. I had a Commodore 64. So I didn't do as much of the Nintendo except at friends' houses. So I wasn't familiar with this game, but I was like, oh, I wonder if Lynn is. She's played like a ton of Nintendo games I wasn't that familiar with. But you didn't know this one either, right?
No.
We're gonna have to look it up. We're gonna have to look up the original game it's based on, which I'm guessing is also called Shadowgate. I would have to assume.
Probably.
Yeah. All right. So let me give that back to you. I'll grab my last one. My last one was one I had accepted a review copy of before I went to the con, and they said they were gonna hold it for me. This one is called How Rulers of the Yucatan, and in it you are competing like kings of city states, and you're doing a bunch of Euro mechanics to basically build up your civilization in the Yucatan Peninsula the best. They have little 3D pyramids, Mayan pyramids out there, which is really cool. I love that these are actually out on the board while you're playing. The board artwork is gorgeous, and the mechanics sounded very Euro-y and cool, and this again sounded like one that was really up our aisle. I just realized we got like a lot of Euro-y games this year. Like there's only a couple with actual combat. Like Seas of Havoc has combat.
Well, there's Overboss.
Overboss.
There's the Disney one.
Oh, yeah, okay. And the Last Kingdom. Last
Yeah.
Kingdom has combat. Okay, never mind.
I'm sure Shadowgate has combat too.
It looks like it does, but it's probably you versus the game. I'm guessing that's gonna because you said it's more like an adventure.
Yeah.
That's fair. I was gonna say we did get maybe we got like maybe a 50-50 mix. Plus, also Moonrakers might have combat since you are space pirates. Okay, no, that's fair. I thought for a second I'm like, did we just get like tons of Euro games?
No.
I guess not. I don't know why I was thinking that way because it does seem like a larger amount of Euro games than normal though. Because like Tribes of the Wind, Vivarium, Castles by the Sea, A How Rulers of Yucatan. What else? Lunar Rush. I think are all pure Euros.
I don't know.
So I don't know. It seems like a lot of Euros. Anyway, I guess that's it. I don't think there's anything else except we had some like little promos and such, but we decided not to show those. But I think that's everything that we were either given a review copy of or that we purchased. Yes.
Yep.
All right, so there you have it. Let us know what you think of our choices. What are you excited to see content on down below? And until next time, game on.